In the year 2045, a charismatic and determined politician named Olivia Thompson made history by becoming the first woman elected as President of the United States. Her campaign had been built on a platform of transparency, with a promise to uncover the truth behind many of the nation's most enduring mysteries. Chief among these was the infamous Roswell incident of 1947, which had captured the public's imagination for nearly a century. As President Thompson settled into the Oval Office, she wasted no time in assembling a team of trusted advisors and experts to help her delve into the Roswell mystery. She appointed Dr. Ethan Reeves, a renowned astrophysicist and UFO researcher, as her special advisor on the matter. Together, they began to pore over the countless declassified documents, eyewitness accounts, and conspiracy theories surrounding the incident. At first, the information they uncovered seemed to be nothing more than a rehashing of the same old stories and speculations. The official government explanation was that the debris found on a ranch near Roswell was merely the remnants of a weather balloon, but many witnesses claimed to have seen strange, otherworldly craft and even the bodies of extraterrestrial beings. As they dug deeper, however, President Thompson and Dr. Reeves began to uncover tantalizing hints of a much larger cover-up. They discovered that many of the key witnesses had been silenced or discredited over the years, and that certain government agencies had gone to great lengths to conceal the truth. One of the most promising leads came from an elderly man named Walter Kincaid, who claimed to have been a young airman stationed at Roswell Army Airfield at the time of the incident. In a secret meeting with President Thompson, Kincaid revealed that he had personally seen the wreckage of a strange craft and the bodies of several small, humanoid creatures. Kincaid also claimed that he had been part of a team tasked with transporting the wreckage and bodies to a top-secret facility known as Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. There, he said, the remains were studied by a team of scientists and engineers who were amazed by the advanced technology they found. President Thompson and Dr. Reeves knew that they needed to find out more about Wright-Patterson and the alleged Roswell artifacts. They began to pull strings and call in favors from their contacts in the military and intelligence communities, but they quickly ran into a wall of secrecy and resistance. Undeterred, they decided to take a more direct approach. With the help of a small, trusted team, they organized a covert mission to infiltrate Wright-Patterson and see for themselves what was hidden there. The team included 2 former Navy SEALs, a hacker who specialized in breaking into government systems, and a young, ambitious journalist named Sarah Novak, who had been following the Roswell story for years. The mission was fraught with danger from the start. As they made their way onto the base under cover of darkness, they were constantly at risk of being discovered by the heavily armed security forces. They managed to locate the building where the Roswell artifacts were allegedly stored, but getting inside proved to be a daunting challenge. Using a combination of high-tech gadgets and old-fashioned lock-picking skills, they finally managed to breach the facility's defenses and make their way inside. What they found there was beyond their wildest dreams and their darkest nightmares. The room was filled with strange, alien-looking artifacts, including the twisted remains of what appeared to be a spacecraft and several small, mummified bodies with large heads and spindly limbs. But that was only the beginning. As they explored deeper into the facility, they discovered a vast underground complex that stretched for miles in every direction. It was filled with advanced technology that seemed to be decades, if not centuries, ahead of anything the human race had developed. They found laboratories where scientists were studying the alien artifacts and reverse engineering their technology. They saw huge hangars filled with sleek, saucer-shaped craft that bore an uncanny resemblance to the UFOs that had been reported by countless witnesses over the years. But the most shocking discovery came when they stumbled upon a large, circular room that seemed to be some kind of control center. In the center of the room was a glowing, pulsating orb that emitted an eerie, otherworldly light. As they approached the orb, they were suddenly confronted by a group of heavily armed soldiers who seemed to appear out of nowhere. The soldiers demanded that they surrender immediately, but President Thompson and her team refused to back down. A tense standoff ensued, with both sides pointing weapons at each other and shouting demands and warnings. Just as it seemed that violence was inevitable, the orb suddenly began to pulse and glow even more brightly, filling the room with a blinding white light. When the light faded, President Thompson and her team found themselves face to face with a group of tall, slender beings with pale, luminous skin and large, almond-shaped eyes. The beings spoke to them, in a language that was unlike anything they had ever heard before. But somehow they were able to understand their message. The beings revealed that they were part of a galactic federation that had been observing Earth for thousands of years. They had been drawn to the planet by the rise of human civilization and the development of advanced technology, but they had chosen to remain hidden and not interfere in human affairs. However, they had also been monitoring the Roswell incident and the subsequent cover-up by the US government. They were concerned that the technology and knowledge gained from studying the alien artifacts could be used for destructive purposes, and they wanted to ensure that it was used for the benefit of all humanity. President Thompson and her team were stunned by this revelation, but they also saw it as an opportunity to forge a new era of cooperation and understanding between the human race and the Galactic Federation. They agreed to work with the aliens to share knowledge and technology, and to help guide humanity towards a brighter future. As they emerged from the Wright-Patterson facility, President Thompson knew that she had a momentous task ahead of her. She would need to reveal the truth about Roswell and the existence of extraterrestrial life to the world, and she would need to do so in a way that promoted unity and hope rather than fear and division. She also knew that there would be resistance from those who had a vested interest in keeping the truth hidden, including powerful corporations and government agencies that had benefited from the reverse engineering of alien technology. But she was determined to face these challenges head-on and to lead the human race into a new era of exploration and discovery. In the weeks and months that followed, President Thompson and her team worked tirelessly to build bridges between the human race and the Galactic Federation. They established a new international agency dedicated to the peaceful exploration of space and the sharing of knowledge and resources between different species. They also worked to declassify and release all of the information related to the Roswell incident and other UFO sightings and encounters. The revelations were met with a mix of shock, wonder, and disbelief by the public, but President Thompson's calm and steady leadership helped to guide the nation and the world through this time of transition. As the years passed, humanity began to take its first tentative steps into the larger galactic community. With the help of their new alien allies, they developed new technologies and explored new worlds, expanding their understanding of the universe and their place within it. President Thompson became a beloved figure, both on Earth and among the stars. She was hailed as a visionary leader who had brought about a new era of peace, prosperity, and progress for all of humanity. But even as she basked in the glow of her success, President Thompson knew that there was still much work to be done. The road ahead would be long and difficult, filled with new challenges and obstacles that would test the limits of human ingenuity and resilience. But she also knew that the human spirit was indomitable, and that with the help of their new alien friends, there was no limit to what they could achieve. The future was bright and filled with endless possibilities. As she looked out over the bustling spaceport that had once been Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, President Thompson couldn't help but smile. She had started her journey as a woman on a mission to uncover the truth, but she had ended up accomplishing so much more than that. She had brought about a new era of peace and cooperation between different species, and had helped to unlock the secrets of the universe itself. She had shown that with courage, determination, and an open mind, anything was possible. And as the first starship bearing the flag of the United Earth Federation lifted off from the spaceport and disappeared into the vast expanse of space, President Thompson knew that her legacy would endure for generations to come. The Roswell incident had been the spark that had ignited a new era of discovery and wonder, and she had been the one to light the flame. President Olivia Thompson sat in the Oval Office, her gaze fixed on the classified files spread out before her. She had been elected on a platform of transparency and truth, promising to uncover the secrets that had been hidden from the American people for far too long. And there was no greater secret than the one surrounding the events that had taken place in Roswell, New Mexico, nearly a century ago. For decades, conspiracy theorists had claimed that the government was hiding evidence of extraterrestrial life, and that the strange debris found on a ranch outside of Roswell in 1947 was actually the remains of a crashed alien spacecraft. The official story, of course, was that it was nothing more than a weather balloon. But Olivia had never been one to accept the official story at face value. She had assembled a team of experts to help her investigate the Roswell incident, led by Dr. Ethan Reeves, a brilliant astrophysicist with a keen interest in the possibility of alien life. Together, They had pored over countless declassified documents and interviewed dozens of witnesses, searching for any clues that might shed light on what had really happened all those years ago. At first, the evidence had been frustratingly inconclusive. The government had done a thorough job of covering its tracks, and many of the key players in the Roswell incident had long since passed away. But as they dug deeper, Olivia and her team began to uncover a tantalizing trail of breadcrumbs that led them to a shocking conclusion. It all began with a series of encrypted messages that Dr. Reeves had intercepted from a remote listening post in the Nevada desert. The messages were in a code that had never been seen before, and it had taken weeks of intensive analysis to crack. But when they finally deciphered the contents, Olivia and her team were stunned by what they found. The messages spoke of a secret government program known as Project Blue Book, which had been tasked with investigating UFO sightings and other unexplained phenomena. But the program had gone far beyond mere investigation. According to the messages, Project Blue Book had actually succeeded in recovering several alien spacecraft and had been secretly studying them for decades. The implications were staggering. If the messages were true, it meant that the government had been lying to the American people for generations. It meant that they had not only been aware of the existence of extraterrestrial life, but had actively sought to conceal it from the public. Olivia knew that she had to act quickly. She couldn't risk the information falling into the wrong hands or being buried even deeper by those who wanted to keep it hidden. She assembled a small, trusted team of advisors and set out to uncover the truth once and for all. Their first stop was the infamous Area 51, the top-secret military base in the Nevada desert that had long been rumored to be the site of alien autopsies and reverse-engineered UFO technology. Olivia and her team knew that getting inside would be no easy feat, but they were determined to find out what was really going on behind those heavily guarded gates. Using a combination of high-level clearance and old-fashioned subterfuge, they managed to gain access to the base and began to explore its labyrinthine corridors and underground chambers. What they found there was beyond their wildest imaginations. There were hangars filled with strange, otherworldly craft that bore no resemblance to anything made by human hands. There were laboratories where scientists in hazmat suits pored over alien artifacts and technology, trying to unlock their secrets. And there were holding cells where live extraterrestrial beings were being kept in stasis, their bodies preserved for study. Olivia and her team were both exhilarated and terrified by what they had found. They knew that they had stumbled upon a discovery that would change the course of human history, but they also knew that they were in grave danger. If the government found out what they had seen, they would stop at nothing to silence them. They barely made it out of Area 51 alive, pursued by black helicopters and heavily armed soldiers. But Olivia was not about to give up. She knew that she had to find a way to bring the truth to light, no matter the cost. Their next lead took them to a remote corner of the New Mexico desert, where a group of UFO enthusiasts had been gathering for years to search for signs of extraterrestrial activity. Among them was a man named Jack Prescott, a former Air Force pilot who claimed to have seen a UFO up close during a training exercise in the 1960s. Prescott had been branded a crackpot by the military and had been forced to resign his commission, but he had never stopped believing in what he had seen. He had spent decades gathering evidence and building a network of contacts in the UFO community, all in the hopes of one day proving that he was not crazy. Olivia and her team met with Prescott in a dusty trailer park on the outskirts of Roswell, and he shared with them a trove of documents and photographs that he had collected over the years. Among them was a grainy black and white image that showed a group of military personnel standing around what appeared to be the wreckage of a flying saucer. Prescott claimed that the photo had been taken by a friend of his who had been stationed at Roswell Army Airfield in 1947, and that it proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the government had recovered an alien spacecraft. Olivia and her team were skeptical at first, but as they examined the photo more closely, they began to see details that lent credence to Prescott's story. There were strange markings on the side of the craft that did not match any known human language or symbology. There were scorch marks and jagged edges that suggested the object had crashed or been shot down. And there was an eerie glow emanating from within the wreckage, as if some kind of otherworldly energy was still pulsing through its veins. Olivia knew that she needed to get her hands on the original photo and any other evidence that Prescott might have. But before she could make her move, tragedy struck. Prescott was found dead in his trailer, his body riddled with bullets. The local police wrote it off as a botched robbery, but Olivia knew better. She had no doubt that Prescott had been silenced by the same forces that had been trying to keep the truth about Roswell hidden for all these years. She and her team barely escaped with their lives, but they managed to retrieve Prescott's files and the all-important photograph. They knew that they were on the brink of a world-changing discovery, but they also knew that they were running out of time. Their final lead took them to a remote island off the coast of Maine, where a reclusive billionaire named Marcus Vance had built a state-of-the-art research facility. Vance was known for his eccentric behavior and his obsession with the paranormal, and rumors had long swirled that he was involved in some kind of top-secret government project. Olivia and her team posed as potential investors and managed to gain access to Vance's compound. What they found there was beyond their wildest dreams. Vance had not only been studying alien technology, but he had actually managed to reverse engineer it and build his own spacecraft. His team of scientists and engineers had been working around the clock to perfect the design, and they were on the verge of a breakthrough that would allow them to travel to the stars. But Vance was not interested in sharing his discovery with the world. He was a man driven by his own ego and his desire for power, and he saw the alien technology as a means to an end. He planned to use it to establish himself as the ruler of a new interplanetary empire, with himself at the helm. Olivia and her team knew that they had to stop Vance before it was too late. They confronted him in his laboratory, surrounded by the pulsing lights and humming machinery of his alien-powered spacecraft. Vance was not about to go down without a fight. He had his own private army at his disposal, and they were heavily armed and well-trained. But Olivia and her team had the element of surprise on their side, and they managed to overpower Vance's guards and corner him in his own laboratory. In the end, it was Vance's own hubris that was his undoing. He refused to surrender, even in the face of overwhelming odds, and he paid the ultimate price for his arrogance. With Vance dead and his research facility secured, Olivia and her team finally had the proof they needed to expose the truth about Roswell and the government's long-standing cover-up of alien life. They released the classified documents and photographs to the media, and the story quickly went viral. The revelation sent shockwaves around the world, and people everywhere were forced to confront the reality that we were not alone in the universe. Some were terrified, others were exhilarated, but everyone knew that life would never be the same again. In the weeks and months that followed, Olivia and her team worked tirelessly to build a new era of transparency and cooperation between the government and the people. They established a new agency dedicated to the study of extraterrestrial life and the peaceful exploration of the cosmos, and they invited the best and brightest minds from around the world to join them in their quest for knowledge. As for the alien spacecraft and technology that had been recovered over the years, Olivia knew that it was too dangerous to fall into the wrong hands. She ordered that it be destroyed, along with all of the research and data that had been collected. The only thing that mattered now was moving forward and building a better future for all of humanity. Years passed, and the world continued to change in ways that no one could have predicted. Contact was eventually made with other intelligent life forms, and a new era of interstellar diplomacy began. But through it all, Olivia remained committed to her original mission of seeking the truth and serving the people. She went on to become one of the most beloved and respected leaders in human history, known for her integrity, her compassion, and her unwavering dedication to the greater good. And though she had started out as just one woman with a dream of uncovering the truth about Roswell, she had ended up changing the course of human destiny forever. As Olivia sat in her office on the centennial anniversary of the Roswell incident, surrounded by the trappings of her success and the love and admiration of her people, she couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey that had brought her to this moment. She thought back to that fateful day when she had first set foot in the Oval Office, determined to uncover the truth no matter the cost. She thought of all the challenges and obstacles she had faced along the way, and of the brave men and women who had stood by her side through it all. And she thought of the countless lives that had been touched by her work, and of the boundless possibilities that now lay ahead for all of humanity. As she looked out the window at the world beyond, a world that had been forever changed by the revelation of extraterrestrial life, Olivia knew that her legacy would endure for generations to come. And she knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, the human spirit would always find a way to rise above and reach for the stars. As the years turned into decades, humanity continued to make great strides in its understanding of the universe and its place within it. With the help of their alien allies, they developed new technologies that allowed them to explore the farthest reaches of space and unlock the secrets of the cosmos. Olivia Thompson, now in her twilight years, watched with pride as a new generation of leaders and innovators took up the mantle of progress and discovery. She had long since retired from public life, but her legacy lived on in the countless lives she had touched and the countless worlds she had helped to shape. One of the most remarkable developments of this new era was the creation of the Interstellar Alliance, a coalition of peaceful alien races that work together to promote cooperation and understanding among all sentient beings. The Alliance was headquartered on a massive space station that orbited the Earth, a symbol of the unity and diversity of the galactic community. Olivia was invited to speak at the inauguration of the Alliance's new ambassador, a young woman named Zara, who had been born on a distant planet but had fallen in love with the people and cultures of Earth. As she stood before the assembled dignitaries and delegates, Olivia couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder at how far humanity had come. When I first set out to uncover the truth about Roswell all those years ago, she began, her voice still strong and clear despite her advanced age. I never could have imagined that it would lead us to this moment. But the Roswell incident was more than just a story of government cover-ups and alien conspiracies. It was a story of the indomitable human spirit and of our unending quest for knowledge and understanding. As she spoke, Olivia's mind drifted back to the countless challenges and triumphs she had experienced over the course of her long and eventful life. She thought of the brave men and women who had fought beside her, and of the sacrifices they had made in the name of truth and justice. She thought of Jack Prescott, the former Air Force pilot who had been killed for his beliefs, and of Marcus Vance, the billionaire visionary who had been consumed by his own hubris. She thought of Dr. Ethan Reeves, the brilliant scientist who had helped her unlock the secrets of the universe, and of Zara, the young ambassador who represented the best of what humanity could become. As we stand here today, on the brink of a new era of peace and prosperity, let us remember the lessons of the past. Olivia continued, her voice ringing out across the vast expanse of the space station. Let us remember that we are all part of something greater than ourselves, and that our destiny lies not in the stars but in the bonds we forge with one another. As she finished her speech, the assembled crowd erupted into applause, their cheers and shouts echoing through the halls of the Interstellar Alliance. Olivia smiled, her eyes shining with the light of a life well lived and a future full of promise. In the years that followed, humanity continued to reach new heights of achievement and discovery. They established colonies on distant worlds, forged new alliances with alien races, and unlocked the secrets of the universe itself. And through it all, they remembered the lessons of Olivia Thompson and the Roswell incident and the unending quest for truth and understanding that had brought them to this moment. As Olivia lay on her deathbed, surrounded by the love and admiration of her family and friends, she knew that her work was finally done. She had lived a life of purpose and meaning, and had helped to shape the course of human history in ways she could never have imagined. And as she took her final breath, she knew that the story of Roswell and the Interstellar Alliance would live on, a testament to the power of the human spirit and the boundless potential of a universe waiting to be explored.